me ask you something from the heart, and I want you to answer honestly. Have you ever looked around and felt like everyone else is ahead of you? Like you missed a deadline you didn't even know existed? Like you're running out of time and life somehow forgot to send you the manual? Pause. Let it land. If that's you, I want you to know something right now. Not just hear it, but feel it in your bones. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not late. You're in a world that races to show the highlight reel, but hides the struggle. You're being fed illusions of success by 30, marriage by 25, 6 figures by 28, timelines written by people who don't even know your story. And if you've been beating yourself up, questioning your worth, or doubting whether it's too late for you, then this message is for you. Because by the end of this talk, I promise you'll walk away with one unshakable truth. You are exactly where you need to be, and everything you think you've missed can still be built. So stay with me, not just to hear words, but to unlock the mindset that's been holding you back. Because once you shift this, once you really get this, you stop living from regret and start building your next breakthrough. Let me tell you the truth about why so many people feel like they're losing at life. It's because they've fallen into the trap of comparison. They've traded their power, their peace, their purpose for someone else's highlight reel. You wake up, you scroll, and within 5 minutes you've convinced yourself that everyone else is farther, better, happier, richer, more in love, more fulfilled, more successful. And without even realizing it, you've made someone else's path the yardstick for your own life. You've taken your eyes off your mission and started watching theirs. That's when you start feeling behind, not because you actually are, but because you're judging your timeline by someone else's finish line. Let me make this clear. Comparison is a liar. It doesn't care about your progress, your growth, or your effort. It only shows you one narrow frame of someone else's movie and convinces you it's the full story. But what you don't see behind that post, that car, that relationship, that job title, is the pain, the pressure, the sacrifice, the mess. You don't see the whole picture, and yet you're ready to throw away your whole life over it? You weren't born to live a copy of someone else's journey. You've got a unique rhythm, a unique assignment, a path that only you can walk. And the second you start honoring that, really owning it, you'll stop feeling behind and start feeling aligned. Because the truth is, there is no behind when you're living life on your terms. Look, you don't need to catch up. You need to wake up to your own power, your own purpose, your own season. You need to unplug from the noise and reconnect to your own pace. And that means shutting out the comparisons, the timelines, the silent pressures, and choosing instead to measure yourself against who you were yesterday. That's it. That's the only comparison that counts. Are you growing? Are you learning? Are you becoming more of who you're meant to be? This shift right here, this is the beginning of power. Because when you stop giving your energy to what they're doing, you reclaim that energy for what you're building. You stop being distracted by their wins and start focusing on your work. And let me tell you, that is when you accelerate. That's when you become unstoppable. Your job is not to match someone else's pace. Your job is to master your own. So the next time you feel behind, ask yourself, behind compared to who? And then remind yourself, I'm not here to compete. I'm here to complete what I was born to do. That's how you take your power back. I know some of you have been carrying this heavy feeling, like life passed you by, like doors closed, and you missed your chance. Maybe you thought you'd be somewhere else by now, further ahead, more successful, more stable, more certain. But here's what I want you to understand at the deepest level. Your delay is not your denial. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it's not going to. See, we live in a world that worships speed, fast results, instant rewards, quick success. But growth doesn't always move fast. Healing doesn't happen overnight. And purpose Real purpose doesn't show up with a deadline stamped on it. Sometimes the very thing you're calling a setback is actually a setup for something greater. You just don't see the full picture yet. Life's not punishing you, it's preparing you. That waiting period you're in, that season where it feels like nothing's happening, it's not wasted time, it's sacred ground. That's where your character is forged. That's where your strength is tested. That's where you build the muscles you're going to need for the next level. Because make no mistake, when the opportunity shows up, and it will, you need to be ready to meet it. But what most people do is they let the delay make them doubt. They start shrinking. They start settling. They give up just inches before the breakthrough. They tell themselves, maybe it's not meant for me, when in reality, it was meant for them. They just walked away too soon. Listen to me. You can't control the timing, but you can control the preparation. You may not be where you want to be yet, but you can still be becoming the person who belongs there. And that's the key. Life doesn't give you what you want. It gives you who you are ready to be. So instead of asking, why hasn't it happened yet? Start asking, who do I need to become to receive it when it does? That question shifts everything. It puts you back in the driver's seat. It moves you from victim to creator. Because if you're becoming better, stronger, wiser, more aligned, then you're not behind at all. You're building, you're evolving, you're getting ready for what's already on its way to you. And sometimes the very reason for the delay is because life loves you enough to hold back what you're not yet ready for. It's protecting your destiny, not denying it. So don't give up in the waiting. Don't talk yourself out of your future just because you haven't seen the results yet. If it hasn't shown up, maybe it's still growing roots. And when it does, you'll realize it came right on time because you were finally the person who could carry it. The delay was never the end. It was part of the plan. One of the biggest reasons people feel stuck, feel behind, feel like they're failing is because they're waiting for the perfect moment. They're waiting for the perfect plan, the perfect mindset, the perfect conditions before they make a move. And I'm here to tell you, perfection is a lie. It's a stall tactic dressed up like strategy. It keeps you planning instead of doing, thinking instead of becoming. Listen, perfection isn't the goal. Progress is. That's the real currency of transformation. That's what builds confidence. That's what changes your life. Not flawless execution, not having it all figured out, but just having the guts to take the next messy, uncomfortable, imperfect step. You don't need a 10-year blueprint to start. You just need enough clarity for today. You don't need the confidence of who you'll be in 5 years. You need the courage to show up as you are right now. The people who build powerful lives, the people who stop feeling behind and start leading from within, they didn't wait to feel ready. They moved before the fear went away. And that movement created the very growth they were waiting on. See, when you chase perfection, you put your life on hold. You wait for the conditions to align instead of creating your own momentum. You start measuring your steps with impossible standards, and the moment something goes wrong, because it will, you call it failure. You internalize it. You say, I'm not ready, and you pull back. But let me ask you this. What if the mistake wasn't a sign to stop, but a necessary part of the process? What if that stumble was the exact experience you needed to learn, to grow, to evolve into the next version of you? You don't get to mastery by avoiding mistakes. You get there by walking through them, by falling, adjusting, rising, and repeating. Progress comes through motion, not perfection. I don't care how slow it feels, how uncertain it looks. If you are moving, you are growing. That's why today you've got to make a new decision, that you will no longer be held hostage by the need to have it all figured out. That from now on, your standard isn't perfection, it's momentum, it's movement. It's showing up even when it's messy, especially when it's messy. Because the people you see ahead, they're not better, they're not luckier, they're just willing to keep going while it's imperfect. That's the secret. They've made peace with being in process. They've made peace with being a work in progress. And they trust that if they keep taking bold, imperfect action, eventually the path clears, the strength grows, the vision sharpens. So if you're waiting on perfect, let me save you a lifetime. It's not coming. But your future, that's waiting on you to move. If you're feeling behind in life, one of the biggest reasons, maybe the real reason, isn't what's happening outside of you, it's what's happening inside your head. It's that story you've been telling yourself over and over again, usually without even realizing it. And that story has power. It shapes how you think, how you move, what you try, and what you don't. But here's the thing. Most of the stories we live by were never even written by us. They were handed to us from our parents, from school, from society, from past failures, from pain. You tell yourself things like, I should be further by now, or it's too late for me, or I always mess things up. And you repeat those thoughts until they become beliefs, and those beliefs become your limits. And the danger is, once you believe something long enough, you stop questioning it. You stop challenging it. You start building your entire life around it, not because it's true, but because it's familiar. You've got to understand something right now. Your brain isn't designed to make you happy. It's designed to keep you safe. So when it finds a story that keeps you from risk, from pain, from failure, it clings to it, even if that story is the very thing keeping you stuck. Even if that story is the reason you feel like you're behind in life. But here's the good news. You don't have to keep living the same script. You have the power to rewrite the story. You have the ability to disrupt the pattern and say, no more. That narrative doesn't serve me anymore. You can choose to shift from I'm not enough to I'm becoming. From I missed my chance to I'm just getting started. From I always fail to I always learn. That shift right there is the difference between staying stuck and breaking free. This isn't just mindset work, it's identity work. Because once you change the way you see yourself, everything changes. Your habits change, your decisions change, your expectations change. You stop settling for a life that doesn't reflect your worth. You stop shrinking yourself to fit an old version of you that doesn't exist anymore. Look, you may not control what happened to you. You may not control the voice that first told you that you weren't good enough. But you do control whether you keep letting that voice drive the car, whether you keep handing it the mic every time you try to rise. And when you take the mic back, when you speak over the lies with truth, with intention, with power, you become unstoppable. So if you want to stop feeling behind, stop speaking like someone who's stuck, stop thinking like someone who's lost, and start talking to yourself like someone who's building, someone who's growing, someone who's worth everything they're going after. Because the story you tell yourself becomes the life you live. There comes a point where you've got to stop looking around, stop blaming the past, stop waiting for someone else to come save you, and start taking ownership of your life. If you're feeling behind, if you're feeling stuck, if you're tired of watching your dreams sit on a shelf collecting dust, then this is the moment where everything starts to shift. Because the truth is, nothing changes until you change. You can't keep waiting for the perfect situation. You can't keep pointing at what happened years ago. You can't keep handing your power to circumstances, to other people, to what should have been. That mindset keeps you trapped. It keeps you reacting instead of creating. It keeps you surviving instead of building. The breakthrough happens when you decide right now to take full, radical responsibility for your life. That doesn't mean blame. It doesn't mean you caused everything. It means you own what happens next You own your choices, your habits, your attitude, your growth. And when you own it, you can change it. Because let me tell you something, life's not waiting for you to feel ready. Life's waiting for you to show up, to stop sitting on the sidelines hoping something will shift and instead become the shift. You've got to stop playing small. Stop waiting for permission. Stop acting like your goals are optional. They're not. They are your responsibility. And I get it. It's easier to say, well, if I had what they had, or if I hadn't been through that, or if things were different, I'd be further by now. But those thoughts steal your energy. They keep your focus on what you can't control. Ownership shifts your focus to what you can control, your effort, your growth, your vision, your response. And when you live from that place, not excuses, not stories, but ownership, you get traction, you get momentum, you start building confidence because, doing something about it. That's where freedom comes from. It's not in getting everything right. It's in deciding that you're in charge. You don't need a perfect past to create a powerful future. You just need the courage to say, it starts with me. It starts today. I'm not waiting another year, another month, another week to step into the life I know I'm meant to live. You may not be able to change what's behind you, but you get to choose what you do with what's in front of you. And that choice made over and over again is what transforms everything. The moment you stop outsourcing your power, you unlock your potential. Because when you take 100% responsibility, you unlock 100% possibility. If you're feeling behind in life, I want you to hear this. Your moment is coming. But the question is, will you be ready for it when it does? Vision. See, most people think that success is all about luck, timing, or talent. But let me tell you what it's really about. Preparation. It's about who you become when nobody's watching. It's about what you're building behind the scenes long before anyone claps for you. Because life doesn't deliver dreams to the most deserving. It delivers them to the most prepared. You say you want the opportunity, the breakthrough, the relationship, the business, the impact. But are you becoming the version of you who can handle it, lead it, sustain it, honor it? Because that version of you, that future self you admire, that version doesn't just appear. They're sculpted in the seasons where it feels like nothing is working, like nobody sees you, like progress is slow and results are invisible. Those seasons aren't punishment, they're preparation. And how you show up when it's quiet determines how far you go when it's loud. That waiting season you hate so much, that's the training ground. That's where the skills are built. That's where discipline is formed. That's where identity is shaped. And too many people waste it. They check out, they complain, they coast. They tell themselves, I'll get serious when things pick up. But the truth is, things pick up when you get serious. The version of you that gets the life you want doesn't show up after the breakthrough. They're built before it. And every small choice you make now, how you think, how you speak, how you act, it's either preparing you for the future or keeping you stuck in the past. There is no neutral. So if you're feeling behind, don't use that as an excuse to wait. Use it as fuel to work, get sharper, get stronger, get focused. Read the books, build the habits, master the craft. Make the moves, not because someone's watching, but because you are watching. And the way you respect your own journey, that's what builds the internal power you need for everything that's coming. I'm telling you, your moment is coming, but if you don't prepare now, you'll miss it when it knocks. You'll doubt yourself, you'll sabotage it, you won't have the strength to hold it, and then you'll tell yourself, maybe it wasn't meant for me. But it was meant for you, you just didn't become the person who could meet it. So don't waste today waiting. Train for what you say you want. Live like the breakthrough is already on the calendar, because the opportunity is coming, and it's looking for someone who's ready.